Right, okay, and welcome to Shacktime. I've got Lewis accompanying me today. We're in a different location today. We've come over to sunny Manchester to come and visit Lewis in his newly designed shack. Lewis, thank you for having us.
No worries.
Are you pleased to be involved in this video today?
I'm really pleased. It's not sunny though, as you said. It's rainy and windy, but
we've got adequate studio lighting, and we've got a lovely candle that's just right behind you now that can't be seen.
And a brew.
And a brew. So yeah, it's Shacktime, and again, obviously, it's brew time. Wow, that is hot. Okay, so Lewis. So today we're going to be talking about network radios, aren't we?
Yep.
Now we've got a selection of mine, and we've got a selection of yours. The idea of this today is to talk about the various different types, the purposes behind, and answering a few questions that we tend to get when we do videos on network radios. So Lewis, the main question that people ask is, what's the point? Why get a network radio? Because you know, use a walkie-talkie, or if you're going to put a SIM card in, you might as well just telephone people. So come on, why network radio?
Right. Well, we've discussed this, haven't we, at length. The main reasons for me, firstly, it's not amateur radio. I've said in loads of my videos that these are technically, and from a technological point of view, they are a radio, but it's not amateur radio, and we know that. And a lot of people, I think that's where the gripe comes in, where they say it's not amateur radio, but nobody's saying it is amateur radio.
No.
Like me and you are both interested in comms and forms of communication, so it's, for me, just another avenue of communication. I think the second reason is it does have its place when radio isn't suitable for you. So, for example, you're here today in a courtesy car.
Yeah.
And you can't put any mag mounts on yours. You can't put any radios in. You've come all the way from Staffordshire. So out of radio reach for most of the journey, and we just kept in touch via this.
Yeah, my car had an accident. It's off the road, so we've got a courtesy car, like Lewis said, and I can't put anything in it. So normally I'd be able to get probably about 10-15 miles away from you, and I'll get you on GB3MR repeater.
Yeah.
But that's not an option, because radio is not an option. Telephoning you isn't all that practical when I'm driving.
Well, no, and even if it was, when we're keeping in touch, like if you're on the way up here and we're just keeping in touch on how the traffic is and whereabouts you are, there's no point in keep ringing you all the time and you ringing me. Even though you've got hands-free in the car, it's just easy to go out, James, where you up to?
Yeah.
And you can say I'm at junction, whatever. So
absolutely right. So the current radio of choice for me at the moment, this Uninoir. And the great thing about this is, as you may have seen in my other videos, is that I'm also using the Enrico Bluetooth speaker mic. This one very easily just clips onto my shirt, onto my coat, whatever, whilst I'm driving, and it's pretty much hands-free operation. So it's a lot easier just to quickly respond to you by doing it that way. So I think network radio's got an awful lot of space for usage. And
plus, if you can keep sort of getting hold of these little gadgets, and everyone likes gadgets, don't they? Then why not? Some of them are just basically cell phones in a fancy case, but why not? It's just
there are. I mean, the first time I used Zello, I think, was using my iPhone, and I really liked it. It was really good, very clear, worked well. But then as times move on, things progress. I think the first one I ever bought was this one, this radio tone. This is the F20.
That's the F22, yeah, the RT3, yeah.
Which isn't bad, but the only problem is that many updates on this. It's now running really slowly, and it was just time to move on and get something better. And it's incredible what's actually out there, because you've obviously seen some of my reviews where I've then upgraded and gone to this 4G device, and then from this 4G, a bit of a back step to a 3G, but it's a much better device because it's got a bigger screen. It's got a built-in UHF radio as well, and loads of other features that you don't get in a basic phone.
Yeah, I think as well. I was using, to talk to you this morning on Zello, I was using my iPhone XR, and this just wasn't practical. And I'm not just saying that being biased. Basically, I was talking to you on Zello. I'd lock it, put it in my pocket, go downstairs. You'd come back to me on Zello. I'd have to unlock it, open up Zello again, and push talk. And it's just a pain. I actually came in here and picked up this, which is the Quingu P3, and started talking to you on this because it's a lot easier. I can just key up the microphone rather than having to keep unlock the smartphone, open up Zello. Because when you close your iPhone down, it closes the apps. They just run in the background, so I have to keep unlocking it, swiping up, going into where I keep Zello, which is in like a radio folder there, so you can see on the screen. Opening up Zello and then talking to you. So yeah, it wasn't practical. I mean,
No.
obviously the iPhone's a cracking bit of kit.
It
but,
is, yeah.
You know, I think these dedicated devices are better. You know, in my opinion.
Yeah. Something I've not tried that would be interesting is to connect the Enrico speaker mic to the iPhone, because then you could keep the iPhone switched off in your pocket, and maybe that would still work with it.
Well, we'll try that in a bit.
Give it a try, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Brilliant. Right, okay, so moving on then to the next level. So we decided we want a handheld, a Zello device, and we want to move to the next level. We then have the Enrico TM7. So, Lewis, you had one of these before I did.
Yep.
Tell me about yours. Why did you get one of those?
I got one because well, I got it as soon as it come out, because I was hoping and praying that these manufacturers would bring out a mobile network radio, because they look really professional. This is actually based on a similar design to the Hytera Motorola DMR radios in terms of the cosmetics on it. So
Yeah.
I thought it looked great, and I spoke to a contact of mine and managed to get hold of one a little bit discounted and got it in, and I used it for a while in the car. It's the it's the TM7, isn't it?
The TM7.
Yeah, so it's 3G only, and where I live, it doesn't stand up very well.
Where's Sandra?
Where I live, I'm surrounded by hills and stuff, and the 3G coverage for that on the network I was on wasn't great. So I took it out the car and used it in the house, and now I use the Sennheiser N60, which I've done a few videos on. And the only reason I use that one is because it's 4G and it has a bigger screen. But the TM7, for anyone wanting to get into radio, wants something a little bit more substantial than a handset, is a cracking little device. And it can be, it's got antenna ports on the back, but for whatever reason they're not connected to anything. It has its own built-in antenna, so you don't need to connect an antenna to it. You can just put it in your car. It'll fit in a single DIN stereo slot, I think. I'm sure it will. I've seen people do it.
It looks like it would.
We were discussing this, weren't we, for yours when yours comes back. And yeah, it's just a really, really nice little device. I was dead excited to get my hands on it.
You see, for the viewers who know my channel, I have one of these in my shack at the moment, and I've disconnected the microphone and I use this fist mic instead. It's easier than having wires going everywhere. But the problem is programming on this screen isn't really very practical.
No.
And it's very tricky if you want to quickly add someone or type something in. Having chubby fingers like mine, it's not the easiest to do the keypad anyway. You have a Bluetooth. Is it Bluetooth or is it just?
It's Bluetooth. So I've got this keyboard. I got this off eBay for about £7. Now, if you were going to get one for the Enrico, you probably want one with a touchpad.
Right.
Just makes it easy to navigate.
So you can navigate and move your mouse.
On the N60, the screen's really easy to navigate, and I just use this for typing, mainly because typing on the touchscreen, it's just quicker. If I'm searching for a network radio group or a contact on Zello, I can just key it in on there.
That's brilliant, isn't it?
And like I said, this was about £7. It just takes 2 AAA batteries, and it's nice.
Yeah. It's a great idea. There we go. So that is the next sort of level. Now, I've decided to put my Enrico in my car, which we've just mentioned. Concerns I have, first of all, is that if I have that in my dash underneath, because I've got a double DIN stereo pole in my car, but I've only got a single stereo. So I've got space for that to fit. But I'm just worried that because it uses telephone signal, is this going to limit the telephone signal getting to this device? Because it's going to be buried behind my stereo and all electrical wires.
Yeah, so in your car it'll be under the stereo, unless you swap them and put that on top.
So am I going to suffer with coverage loss? Especially as it's only a 3G device.
I don't know.
Which makes me think, what a shame we can't connect externally an antenna.
Yeah.
So there you go. So that's something I'm going to play with.
Just while you mention that, there are tutorials on the internet where people have actually connected up those ports on the back to make external antennas. So that's something you could
potentially could be done.
Yeah.
Well, that's probably another video for another day for me.
Yeah, you could just extend a piece of coax to a pigtail on the back from where the internal antenna solders to the board. It would be quite an easy mod.
Right. Okay. Well, that's something definitely worth looking at then, because now I don't know whether you gave me this idea or whether I dreamt it, but I got the idea of getting rid of this from the shack, go straight into the car, and then for a shack, getting a tablet. So I've ordered a 10-inch tablet. Android tablet, very cheap from China, but it's good enough just to run the one app, which is Zello. So then you've got a nice big Zello screen in front of you, Bluetooth microphone that will just connect straight to it, and nice big touch screen. So when you come to search or program for channels and groups, it's touch screen, everything's in front of you. Why don't more people do that? Why don't you do that, for instance?
Well, it's funnily enough, I had a similar idea, which
Right.
I'll
Did
tell
I
you.
get the idea from you then?
We may have possibly just dreamt it up together.
Okay.
But no, I've got it's a similar idea on something I'm going to be covering in a future series of videos. But what I have on the desktop behind me is Zello, because what I find is basically what I have is all my devices have their own account, and they're all linked into one group channel.
Mm-hmm.
So whichever device I pick up, I can log into either my main account, which is RM Comms, or the private one. So basically, they'll all talk to each other and they'll all talk to you, as we've discussed. Now, what I find is when you're running things like that through Zello, you need an admin device, a handheld or one of these like mobile radios. They're just not sharp enough to quickly and effectively do admin on.
No.
You know, iPhone's a little bit easier to do, but having a desktop with Zello on it just makes it real easy to drag and drop and add and delete and type and edit things and upload pictures. So I have the computer here and my laptop in the shack.
See, that's an interesting point, because I ran into great difficulties, because like you, I've got tour groups that I've created, and when I want you, I call you on your tour group, and whichever radio you're using that day, it'll just connect to.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's a great way of doing this, especially if you have multiple devices. But setting that up and trying to get the pictures and set it all up is a pain on the smaller devices. Now, when I tried to do that on my computer, it wasn't working properly.
Right.
I was trying to download pictures, from my and it just wouldn't do it. The easiest device I used was my iPhone.
Right.
So that was quite surprising.
I think Zello desktop is a little bit glitchy sometimes as well. Yeah. But it does help to have an admin. I mean, like I say, you can do everything you need to do on these devices, but when you're trying to type in, especially ones like this where you've got the keypad as well, it's just a lot easier to use a computer or a laptop.
Much easier.
Or a tablet as an admin device, really.
Now, when this one arrived through the post for me, this was, at that time, my favourite. This was my go-to radio to use. And that's on the basis that this screen is pretty much the size of an iPhone screen or a smart device. And it's enabled me to do things very easily on it. And this was the radio. I did some tests. I went out and about, and I was losing signal quite a lot with it because it's only 3G. So as one of my other videos, I've done a comparison with 3G and 4G. I was able to use the 4G in most places I went to. It does that.
If anyone knows why that does that, what that sound means, then drop a comment on James's video.
Every now and again, it chimes, and I'm thinking it's someone at the door.
Yeah.
But it's not my house, so it wouldn't be. So, so the 4G. So that's the only thing that upsets me with this radio. It's got UHF radio built in. It's got smart screen. It's great for maps, watching YouTube. It's just only a 3G. So at the moment, this is my go-to device for every day. So out of all the hundreds of devices you have, which is the one that you stick in your pocket to take out with you?
This one, which is a Quingu P3. That's my favourite, just 'cause it's a bit more compact, doesn't have a large keypad, and it's 4G. Just on a comment you made there, James, if I've got it, if you ever wanted to use that outside, I know you and I have both got these little portable 4G MiFi devices, so that
would then work on a faster network.
Yeah, because this, even though it's using 3G, it'd actually be using Wi-Fi to this little router, which is actually over 4G, so technically you could...
Yeah, that's a valid point. It's just something else to carry.
Yeah.
And in the car, really no issues. Mine's quite an old device, and my battery lasts like half an hour before it's dead. Yeah. But in the car, into your cigarette lighter to keep it charged, that's a great option. And it's also a great option for this. If my fears of my TM7 not working very well in the car, if I connected it to the Wi-Fi, i.e. to that, then that will eliminate that concern, I suppose, wouldn't it? Yeah, brilliant. Okay, so you've obviously got quite a few handsets. You've got more than me because I know that you do reviews. This what's it called again?
Quingu.
It's a nice size, this, isn't it?
Yeah.
Have you done a review of this on your channel?
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to put a link in the description below for the link to Lewis's channel and the review on this, because I really like this one. This is a very small one, and I love the fact that you can just unclip it from the bell clip, like so. I really like it. It feels a good studio radio as well.
Yeah, I really like it. Another one that I actually never use, and I need to start using more, is the Radiotone RT4. So this, well, as you can see, it's virtually brand new. It's barely been used. I use this for testing, and yeah, it's just a really nice chunky device. It looks a little bit more like, if I show that on the other camera, it looks a bit like a DMR handset.
Do you know what else?
Go on.
It's like Motorola.
Yeah.
You feel like you got a Motorola handset.
Yeah.
Which is a compliment.
Yeah,
they've
like got cameras on and stuff. Yeah. Have you used the camera on that W5 yet?
Yes, I've used the front camera because one of the first things I do is to install all the apps I want to use on a day-to-day basis and see how good they are. And WhatsApp is something I use quite a lot, and I do use the video call on WhatsApp. And this is what I loved about it. It was really clear and it worked quickly.
Yeah.
There was no lag to it. And again, the same with this one, with 4G device. Thinking this probably wouldn't be as good camera-wise, but it is. It's not as good as an iPhone, but I mean, for a pocket device that you use mainly for communicating on, it was perfect. So no complaints at all.
No, good. This is a nice one as well. This is a Sennheiser N33. Now, the one I've got is a test bed. It's experimental, so unfortunately I can't install Zello on it. But it's a similar sort of concept to the P3. It's got the sliding little belt clip there, and it's a really nice compact device. Very small screen, so not practical from that point of view. But I think these are being sold now, where you can put the Play Store on them. But unfortunately, my version I can't put the Play Store on. But it's another nice device. I know we tested this over Real PTT.
We did, didn't we?
Which is a similar app.
Again, you've done a review on that one, so check out Lucy's channel again for that one. This has got a really good feel to it. This is the sort of thing you feel that you could wear on your rucksack when you go mountain biking or sort
Looks
of
like a little
hiking.
GPS.
It does, doesn't it? It feels really sturdy. I take it's got like a good IP rating. Do you remember offhand?
I can't remember off the top of my head. Can't remember, to be honest.
That's nice. I do like that one. I do like it. Yeah, but apart from the strange noise that this one makes occasionally, that's my favourite at the moment. So, Lewis, other than that, there's all the questions that people ask. Can you think of them off the top of your head?
I think the main one we covered is people saying it's not radio.
Oh, it's not amateur radio. It shouldn't be used.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I've been a member of a few amateur radio groups, and they use network radios. So when you've got students sort of going for their M6s, or is it an M9 now?
M7.
M7.
Yeah.
It's going for the M7s. They actually have the amateur radio group has its own talk group on Zello. And it's great for practicing radio procedure.
Yeah,
you can use call signs, the etiquette, and everything that you do on amateur radio, you practice on here, giving people the confidence.
Yeah.
And it's brilliant for that as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you know what? There's no book, as far as I'm aware, that says this is what amateur radio is, this is what it isn't.
Yeah.
It's all to do with radio, and if this is part of it, this is kind of it just enhances the hobby.
Yeah.
So why do people get so wound up? Oh, you can't use those, you can't put that on your channel. That's not amateur radio.
It's just a form of. We're interested in two-way communications, and it's about experimenting with two-way communications. I mean, a lot of people said Echolink was, like the worst thing ever. DMR, a lot of people weren't keen on that when it come out. There's all sorts of different things. Echolink is the same concept as Zello. It's all over IP, and there's a lot of repeaters now that are starting to become Zello linked. So there was one round here which is unfortunately off the air at the moment, but GB3WP had a Zello cross link, so you could talk from your Zello handset over RF, and the repeater keeper allowed you in after seeing your license document and stuff. So it's it is becoming a part of amateur radio. It's not amateur radio, but it is becoming part of that wider hobby, or that wider group of hobbies. It's like CB radio, some people into shortwave. It's two-way comms.
Yeah, people still complain about CB, but you can guarantee most people started off on CB radio, whether it was legal or not legal.
Yeah.
They started off on CB, and it is all part of it. And you know what? It's just a bit of fun. On a practical note, we've done radio tests, haven't we, on Cannock Chase? And we've gone out with some radios and we've lost contact for one reason or another. Yeah, we have these Zello devices in our pocket, and we always fall back on that one if we've lost touch using the UHF device.
Yeah,
so
definitely.
it's one of those. It's given us a very practical purpose. It is what it is.
It's just a bit of fun, isn't it?
Yeah,
it's just a bit of fun. There's loads of. I've done experiments with these, linking these up to radios. as like a cross link. I did that with a TYT MD380. I'm not sure if you remember.
From PMRs.
Yeah,
Using PMRs,
yeah, and you can key up and key up over the Zello device, and it's quite easy to make an interlinked system.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And I think there's a few people who have done that and filmed it. And again, it's all about getting out there, playing, trying different things out. So you can just buy one of these from the shelf and use it straight away, or you can really push it and make it into something a lot bigger and something a lot better.
And another thing as well, I was quite surprised. Sam from Radio, we went into Radio World, didn't we, a couple of weeks ago?
A great world in Staffordshire.
Yeah, and we spoke to Sam. I hope he's watching this. Hi Sam, if you are. And basically, we noticed, didn't we, an Enrico T320 display case.
Yeah.
And on his website, he sells all those sorts of things. I think he might even sell these on there. I'm sure I saw them on there from Radio World. So even he's getting a lot of people now coming to him that are interested in network radio.
Yeah, yeah. I think Zello's got two sides to it. It's got the commercial side as well as the private side, hasn't it? I'm not sure what the differences are, but I think it's one of those things where it is catching on. It is becoming more used, and I wonder how long until there's more apps like Zello.
Yeah, I mean, one of the appealing things about Zello is that the CEO of Zello actually said that it will always be free. It's free now, and it will always be free.
Yeah,
which is great.
That's a great
thing.
thing,
It's not something that we're going to end up being sort of hit with subscription and things like that.
No.
So yeah, no, it's good.
Excellent, excellent. Right, okay, well, Lewis, this is going to pretty much tie up what we've talked about so far. So we'll end the video here. Thanks for having me down here today and obviously showing us all your stuff. I'm going to get back in a bit, start dismantling my shack and getting ready for my new tablet. I'm going to do a video on that, the installation of the tablet, and it'll be interesting to see as well sort of how well it works. And I'm looking forward to installing this bad boy in the car as well.
Yeah.
So that's going to be good.
No, good stuff.
Right. Okay, so thanks for watching, guys, and leave any questions or comments in the description thingy below, and I'll catch you on my next video. Right? I hate starting videos, I do.
Hello and welcome back to Shacktime. Yeah. As simple as that.
Right, okay. Hello, welcome back to Shacktime. I'm James. This is...
Start again.
Okay.
I was looking at you.
Right, okay. And welcome to Shacktime. Bit of a different...